Hello, my name is Pam Baker, and I'm working on my observation journal for week number 4. Today we're learning about evidence-based practices, or EBPs. Some EBPs that I'm familiar with include PECS, Picture Exchange Communication System. I've been able to use this with students to help them communicate with the use of pictures, to begin with a one-word picture for them to get a need or want satisfied, and then to build on to sentences so they can communicate effectively with people around them. Another one that I'm familiar with is social narratives. I've been able to work with and create social narratives that students can use in a social situation. This would describe the situation and also show cues about that situation, which will help them give the appropriate response in that time. Another one that I've been familiar with is discrete trial trainings. Discrete trial trainings are one-on-one teaching situations with a student and a teacher, and I've been able to work with another teacher on this that we were able to help preschool students learn how to count to 12 using an egg carton and some counters. The student was able to take apart and put together numbers up to 12, and when they did the appropriate response, they were able to receive a treat or a tangible reward. That was really effective in helping the student stay in participation with the activity. Some that I'm not so familiar with is a naturalistic intervention. And this intervention happens right in the natural environment where the student is in the typical setting and doing activities that the rest of the class is doing. The teacher here sets up the activity and sets up the surrounding to get the target behavior response from the student. And when that happens, they're already set up to receive a natural consequence within that setting. And I think that's very interesting, and I would like to learn more about that. Another one that I'm not that familiar with is pivotal response training. In pivotal response training, the student is motivated to respond to multiple cues from maybe self-management or self-initiation, and these interventions are guided with practices that are right in the setting that the student's in, and it helps to build the learner's interest in what's going on and also helps them build initiative. Though I went to a conference on this, I wasn't able to implement it right away, and I've lost a lot of the knowledge of that, so I would be interested in learning more about that. The next one that I'm interested in is self-management skills. Self-management skills are interesting to me because they help the student reward themselves and monitor their own behaviors and how they're doing with that, and they're able to reward themselves when they're doing a good job. This is interesting to me because it gives the student so much more independence and control over their behaviors and the rewards that they're gaining. So I'm interested definitely in learning more about that one. The second part of our observation journal today is talking about the IRIS module and the students that they were discussing in there. And it was really interesting to learn about Tyler and Dylan and Mia and Michael. These students all had autism, and they were of different ages. They had different skills and strengths and likes and dislikes. And I really liked the support of their parents and the staff in these stories. Some EBTs that they used was using a tablet for picture communication. This is really neat because the student was able to work with their parent and be able to build communication. I liked seeing that they were using predictable routines and that the students were able to count on those. And when those weren't there for them, there were obviously responses from them that were not positive. So I'm glad that they used predictable routines. The social narratives was also used, and the mom was trying to build positive social responses with her daughter. Early intervention was talked about, and although this may or may not be an EBT, it's critical for students with autism. The earlier that they get intervention, the more positive the results for them. And then speech therapy and physical therapy were also things that were discussed, and these are very important to help students become more independent and successful in the classroom. So I was glad to learn about these students, their families, and the supports that they have. And, thank you for listening.